Ambassador Zekthor's scales rippled with satisfaction as he delivered the ultimatum to the human delegation. The holographic display showed 17 colony worlds, each marked with the crimson sigil of the Kaldrith Empire. "These worlds now belong to us," Zekthor announced, his voice echoing through the diplomatic chamber aboard the neutral station. "Your species has 48 standard cycles to evacuate. Resistance will be met with annihilation." The three humans sat motionless across the obsidian table: Captain Sarah Chen, Admiral Marcus Webb, and Dr. Elijah Torres, representatives of a species the Empire had deemed primitive, weak, and irrelevant. "We've conquered 400 civilizations," Zekthor continued, his twin hearts beating with ancient pride. "The Kaldrith Empire has stood for 10,000 years. Your kind emerged from your single world merely 3 centuries ago. You possess no weapons that can harm our fleets, no technology that surpasses ours, and no allies foolish enough to stand beside you." Captain Chen's expression remained unchanged. She simply stood, smoothed her uniform, and spoke 3 words. "Meeting adjourned, Ambassador." Zekthor's jaw mandibles clicked in confusion. "You do not negotiate? You do not beg? We offer you the mercy of evacuation." "You've made your position clear," Admiral Webb said, rising alongside Chen. "We'll make ours clear through our actions." Dr. Torres gathered his datapad without a word. Within minutes, the human delegation had departed, leaving Zekthor staring at the empty chairs. The ambassador's confusion turned to contempt. These humans were either suicidally arrogant or too stupid to comprehend their situation. Either way, they would learn. 48 cycles passed. The Kaldrith Armada, 300 warships, each capable of sterilizing a planet, arrived at the first human colony, New Horizons, an agricultural world of 12 million souls. Fleet Commander Varkesh expected to find desperate evacuation vessels or perhaps a token defense force. Instead, his sensors showed nothing. The colony appeared completely empty. "Scans indicate all major settlements are abandoned," his tactical officer reported. "No life signs detected." "They ran like prey," Varkesh sneered. "Dispatch landing forces. Claim the planet for the Empire." The first transport descended through New Horizons' atmosphere. As it approached the capital city's landing zone, the ship simply stopped. Every system failed simultaneously. The vessel plummeted from the sky. Then another transport failed. And another. "What is happening?" Varkesh roared. His science officer's scales had paled to white. "Commander, I'm detecting massive electromagnetic distortions. The entire planet's infrastructure has been converted into..." The orbital defense platforms arrived before he could finish. Not emerged, not appeared. Arrived. They had been hidden in the planet's magnetosphere, undetectable until activation. Human-designed stealth technology that the Empire's sensors couldn't perceive. The platforms opened fire with weapons that shouldn't have existed. Railguns launching projectiles at percentages of light speed, each round carrying the kinetic energy of a tactical nuclear weapon. But more devastating were the quantum disruptor beams, technology the Kaldrith had deemed impossible. Yet there it was, tearing through their shields as if they were paper. Farakesh's fleet fought back with the fury of an empire that had never known defeat. But the humans had studied the Kaldrith for 3 centuries. They knew every specification of every ship, every weakness in every shield configuration, every tactical doctrine in the Empire's military database. The humans hadn't evacuated New Horizons. They'd turned it into a trap. Within 4 hours, the Kaldrith Armada was reduced to debris and distress signals. Zekthor watched the battle reports with disbelief. The Empire dispatched reinforcements, a fleet of 800 ships led by the legendary War Marshal Theknor himself. The humans met them at the second colony, and the third, and the fourth. Each battle revealed new horrors. Humans didn't just fight, they adapted. They learned. They evolved their tactics in real time. Their ships were smaller, fewer in number, but they fought with a coordination that suggested a hive mind. Their weapons improved between each engagement, as if they were testing and iterating mid-war. But the most terrifying aspect wasn't their technology, it was their resolve. The Empire had conquered hundreds of species. All of them, when faced with overwhelming force, had either surrendered or broken. They begged, negotiated, sought mercy. Humans did none of these things. When a human ship was disabled, Its crew would ram it into Kaldrith vessels rather than be captured. When colonies were threatened, civilians didn't flee. They armed themselves and fought alongside the military. When the Empire executed prisoners to demonstrate their power, humanity didn't flinch. They simply added those names to a list labeled Debts to Collect. Marshal Theknor sent a message after his fleet lost its 17th engagement. "What are you?" Captain Chen's response was broadcast across all Kaldrith frequencies. "We're the species you threatened. We're the people you tried to intimidate with words while we prepared with actions. We're humanity, and we don't surrender." 6 months after the ultimatum, Ambassador Zekthor found himself back in the same diplomatic chamber. But this time the Kaldrith sat on the opposite side of the table. 3 human representatives, the same 3, sat across from him. The Empire had lost 60% of its fleet. 17 colony worlds remained firmly in human control, and now human vessels orbited the Kaldrith homeworld itself. "We have terms," Admiral Webb said, sliding a datapad across the table. Zekthor's hands trembled as he read. The terms were surprisingly moderate. No occupation, no reparations, no subjugation. Just one demand. The Kaldrith Empire would recognize human sovereignty and never threaten their worlds again. "Why?" Zekthor whispered. "You could destroy us. Why offer peace?" Dr. Torres leaned forward. "Because we don't want to be conquerors. We just wanted you to understand that threats without consequences are just noise. You spoke your intentions. We demonstrated ours." Captain Chen stood, just as she had 6 months prior. "The difference between your empire and humanity, Ambassador, is simple. You spent 10,000 years making threats and watching species bow. We spent 300 years hoping we'd never need to fight but preparing as if war was inevitable." She paused at the doorway. "You taught the galaxy to fear your words. We taught you to respect our actions." The human delegation departed, leaving Zekthor alone with a treaty that would end the Empire's expansion forever. In the silence, the ambassador finally understood. Humanity hadn't answered the Empire's threats with threats of their own. They'd answered with a demonstration, and the galaxy would never forget it.